மறக்காம சர்ப்ரைஸ் பண்ணுங்க. Thank you.
Move now to Southend in England, a very romantic location, I don't think. In the year 2002, and this is a game between two grandmasters from England. John Ems with white, Nigel Davis with black, and it comes from the Red Bus Knockout tournament played in 2002. And it features a move order for white which a lot of grandmasters are using. That's to say, a line where once again we see white trying to embarrass the bishop on c8 by bringing his bishop out to d3 early. We saw something similar to this in one of the opening games, and Polzin Shengalia, if my memory serves me correctly, and there black dealt with the early development of the bishop to d3 very effectively indeed, if you'll recall that game from the introduction. Here we see Ems refining white's plan by not developing the knight on c3 early. He's going to play bishop d3 and knight e2 first. He's going to make it even more difficult for black to play the bishop out to g4 at the right moment. But I don't think this plan is too dangerous, and let me just show you how Davis dealt with it. Okay, well, he played the bishop out to e7. Knight comes to e2. Black castles. Knight comes out to c3. Obviously, white could castle in this position. And now we know that bishop g4 is a good move. Let's see how Davis plays it slightly differently by playing knight out to c6. Castles. And now the rook comes to e8, which is a fairly sensible way of handling the position. White played b3. Bishop comes to f8. Pawn comes up to h3. And now Davis brought his knight to b4. And, well, again, this is quite an interesting move. White played bishop to b1. Black played pawn up to c6. And now bishop came to e3. And now black showed an independent train of thought by playing pawn up to d5 straight away. Perhaps it's not necessary to develop that bishop on c8 early. Perhaps black can leave this bishop behind for a while and just concentrate on improving his pawn structure in the centre. So it's up to Ems to demonstrate something. He started to kick the black knights around, but as we know from our investigation so far, you know, these pawn advances have good and bad things about them. The bad thing might be that it leaves weaknesses in the wake of the pawns, and well, black can look forward to perhaps hitting back against white's pawn structure with ideas such as b6 in the not too distant future. Okay, well, b4 was played. Knight comes back to c7. Bishop comes back to d3. Incidentally, if white was going to try any funny stuff with queen up to d3, I think black can just defend very comfortably indeed with g6. And then the queen is just on the wrong square. You know, it's a target for the bishop on c8 after black plays knight f6, for instance. And then black can perhaps look to occupy e4. So Ems plays in his usual sensible, solid, effective mode by simply bringing the bishop back to d3 and connecting his major pieces. But now comes b6. And actually this is the move which gives black counterplay. Attacking c5 makes it quite difficult for white to organise b5, which is his main plan. White would like to swamp black's queenside with pawns and cramp black there. But b6 is a very effective counter in my view. Ems played queen to b3. Just going back, could he play b5 straight away? Not sure. I think b takes c5, b takes c6, knight b8 is actually quite okay for black. You know, both sides have mutual weaknesses, but, well, after d takes c5, knight takes c6, is black worse here? I very much doubt it. Suddenly all of black's pieces seem to be on pretty good squares, it seems to me. So that would be okay for black. Perhaps b5 was M's intention, but at the last minute he saw that he couldn't do it, and so preferred the solid move, queen to b3. Okay, Davis centralises his knight with knight to e6. rook f1. And now pawn comes up to a6, preventing white from playing b5 altogether. C takes on b6. Knight takes b6. Knight a4. Perhaps white is trying to create pressure against c6. But Davis has got it all under control. Knight takes a4, queen takes a4, bishop d7. And, well, black is probably threatening c5 in this position. M's played knight to f4. He's allowing the move c5. And now pawn comes up to g6. Knight takes e6. Rook takes e6. Queen c2. Bishop comes to d6. And in this position, both players decided on a truce. The game was drawn. In fact, black is absolutely fine here. He can easily cover the c6 pawn. He can liquidate his weakness on a6 by playing a5. It's hard to see an effective plan for either side, given that both sides have mutual weaknesses. So there's another way for black to play against this early bishop d3 and knight e2, knight c3 plan, just hanging back with the bishop on c8, preparing c6 and d5. It does look like a pretty effective method.
மறக்காம சர்ப்ரைஸ் பண்ணுங்க. Thank you.